is attorney and legal affairs commentator Ariva Martin. Ariva, what is your reaction to how the defense is approaching this so far?
So, Brianna, we expected this. We know from the opening statement from the defense, a big part of their case is trying to get this jury to believe that Cassie Ventura was a consenting adult in these sexual acts, these freak-offs that we've heard so much about during her direct testimony. So a lot of what the defense has been doing today during this cross-examination is showing text messages and getting Cassie Ventura to acknowledge that, according to these text messages, she was a willing participant in some of these freak-offs. But one of the things that we haven't done or haven't heard yet, Brianna, is the connection between those text messages in the early stages of the relationship and the violence that we heard so much about during the direct testimony yesterday. And I think when the prosecution gets to redirect, we're going to see them try to link the violence that happened later in the relationship to her participation and make the argument still that she was being coerced into these commercial sex acts with escorts, despite how she may have felt about Sean Diddy Combs in the beginning of their relationship.
And Ariva, what do you make of the?
I'll be the first to go.
Go ahead, Sweeney.
Fellas, I think we should sit this one out. I think we need to leave this one alone.
What happened?
Let's not touch this shit with a 10-foot pole. Let's wait on all the evidence, see whatever, because I do not think that it is great to offer our opinion on this particular topic.
I'm jumping off the ledge. I'm about to jump off the ledge.
Oh shit, here we go.
Well, I think as a man in general, we are like, we know not to die on a hill, especially when we don't have evidence. I think that I think you should be. I know, like, girls a lot of times they just throw stuff out there and all that, but I do think as a man, anything that you can't speak on, based on like, oh, I don't know if she actually did this, then you should know better than to say stuff like that. But yeah.
Okay, so this is my jump off the ledge thought process with this. It's celebrity coercion, it's power coercion, and it's money coercion. And it's the way that it seemed like they framing it is she was consenting verbally, consenting physically, but the reason that it's coercion and wrapping him up in a RICO is because his influence, celebrity, and power, her wanting to be around those things, made her susceptible to the negative manipulation that he was doing. If that's the case, can a celebrity date a woman? Because that's always gonna be a part of that relationship.
Right. I have a question just to clarify some things about what we watching. So is Cassie suing Diddy right here, or is this the government suing Diddy?
This is RICO.
Okay, so whether Cassie was consenting or not, she doesn't benefit because she already got paid. She doesn't benefit from proving him to be a bad guy or anything like that in this particular matter.
Yes, she does.
Maybe
her name is on the line.
Potentially, if she went in jail, but she's not at risk of going to jail, right?
No.
But her name is on the line, and her reputation. Plus, she may want revenge.
Her reputation for what?
Lying about putting him out there, or
y'all know
people are right now. No, there are people on.
No, none of us care about Cassie. We're gonna forget about her in 2 days.
Crazy. You know how many content creators gonna be making her life hell, and how many videos is gonna be made about her lying, just like Megan Thee Stallion right now. How it's driving Megan Thee Stallion crazy right now about her lying.
That's different. We care about Megan Thee Stallion to something like Cassie. We're gonna forget about her in 2 days.
I don't care about Megan.
No, we won't.
Shit.
No, Megan is a caricature of something that we hate. So like Megan is a little different. Like,
so is Cassie right now.
The hot girl, all that.
She walked away with tens of millions of dollars, and if he's proven not guilty, it's gonna look like she just finessed him and kind of robbed him.
Right?
Because y'all can't say that. This is the problem. This is why I said I think
I'm there with Sweeney. I mean, we don't know.
Like, even if there was dynamics where she may have consented to some things in regards to, like, we all can't just gloss over the fact that we did see a video of him beating the dog shit out of her.
That's not what he's on trial for.
No, I'm not saying
he's guilty of that.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that Cassie is there more or less as a character witness.
No,
This isn't this.
she was swimming in fucking pool of baby oil.
I know,
More
but
than
I'm saying though
Yeah,
is like
this is the most
conversations-
Paul comment ever.
Oh God, bro, come on,
Oh,
bro,
hey,
bro,
yo. Oh
Yeah.
my God, yo, what?
Joe.
Is that a dude?
Yeah.
Whoa!
No,
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 no.
no,
Critical.
no.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
hey, I'm muting that nigga for the rest of the night.
Hey,
You get muted for the rest of the night.
hey, yo,
I'm putting that man in timeout.
damn, son.
Hold on, why y'all shocked? Y'all act like this nigga's not in the industry doing shit like that. Worse.
Well, obviously
They don't say it out loud.
They don't say it out loud.
So it doesn't matter. It's still wrong. Right?
I mean,
So
I think he's
White
joking.
School,
I had to be
the
satire.
outcome is to get
Okay.
30 million.
White School, let me ask you this: if I'm say you meet me, you come to a basketball game, you meet me at the game. I just signed a contract for 250 million. Multiple women you see are clawing for me, and I pick you, and I go home with you, and you have sex with me that night, right? And then the next day you say, I didn't want to have sex with you. I only did it because you were a famous athlete. Do you think that was non-consensual sex?
No, that was consensual. If I went with you and everything, yeah.
So, all right, what about if we stay in a 1-year relationship and the only reason you're staying is because athlete, rich, and you might find me attractive?
That's just a regular relationship.
That's kind of what it sounds like Diddy on trial for. If you like boil it down and you remove all the freaky stuff out of it, because I think this case gonna come down to what does coercion and power look like, and how are we going to define coercion? Because if her argument is I didn't want to do those things, because he's only on trial for that, for not for the physical abuse. We all more than clear that his ass beat her, and he should have got booked for that, but he didn't get booked for that. The thing that he's actually on trial for is her saying she felt financially coerced into participating in these acts that she did not want to participate in.
Meantime, enjoying a couple Bentleys and some money.
Well, I thought you men said if a woman says no, then it's no,
right?
Or like when Shannon Sharp was like, the girl was like, okay, we're having fun, but when I said no because I don't want to do it today, that was not consent. But there probably were many times when there wasn't consent. And to account for that, whether I remembered or not, or whether
that
I'm
part right there
associated or not, because of the trauma of like we don't even know
What
all.
do we do know? What we do know that we do know this guy's capable of laying hands on her,
yeah,
and injecting her with drugs.
Yeah.
When you compare those two,
I don't think he was injecting her with drugs. I think she was taking drugs.
Well,
he is laying hands on her, but
we got to remember that
you said we don't think that he was.
So the information that I've seen released now, like, mind you, Diddy a nasty man, and I hate to be the one to make this argument, but just for the sake of the conversation, right? I'm just making it playing devil's advocate for the sake of the conversation, just to intellectually engage in something that it could be stimulating, right? I don't think he was forcing her to take those drugs. Per the transcript that's been released, she was contacting a person on his behalf that had the drugs, and she knew where to get them. So she was willingly going to get the drugs from that person, from what I read.
Well, what I read, some of the drugs was working as a way to enhance in your endurance, so you could stay up over several nights to do sexual.
Hey, Darwin, let me just tell you, there's a very high percentage of people who take drugs to enhance a sexual experience, whether it be weed, whether it be perks, whether it be X, or any of the all of them. That's just a thing, right? People do that. That's a lot.
The question is it?
I do want to get some other ladies in there too, y'all. Let's get
drug consumption involuntarily during the situations, especially when you combine that with his will to use his physical abuse, to get his way. when you combine that with the drugs, is it beyond the realm of possibility that that combination was used in a way to push her into out of her out of capacity to use her own discretion in some of the situations?
Right.
And
Let's
can we
see if
get
we can
the
get Sportscom and Empress to answer that. Get them
Lapeef
involved.
real quick? Lapeef, can we
Hold
get
on.
the context of the just so that we can just at least get the context before they answer? That I'm pretty sure they're trying to put a RICO on him, right? So that means that they're not just trying to say, "Oh, you was mean." They're trying to paint a picture that he is a kingpin, and he's basically calling shots. If that, they got to prove that in order to really put the RICO on him. So she might be one of their cogs to do that. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, let's.
Have you ever seen a RICO where they only bring
We
one?
got to get them in there, y'all. I know we're gonna
Sorry.
keep talking. We got to get them in there. Go ahead, Sportscom and Empress.
Oh, I was just gonna say real quick. I'm being perfectly honest. I have not been following this that deeply, just because we literally just finished our program. So I don't want to throw anything out there that I don't really know too much about. I haven't really read the transcripts. I've gone on social media. I've seen stories. I think it's horrible what she went through, but I really can't speak to it to that extent because I really haven't been completely locked in. And there's been a lot going on between that, Meg Thee Stallion, and what else? What's the third story that came out?
DDG and Hallie.
And Hallie. And then we have a mess in Washington, D.C. where we live. So
yeah. Trades and everything, Saudi Arabia, all this stuff.
Yeah.
For a news cycle, there's a whole lot going on. I don't know. So like, I never did no Diddy shit in my life, but let me start off with that. But I did used to hoop, and like those type of like a party where you have a sexual experience, it's possible. So now, is everybody that had these sexual experiences going to be drugged in? You know what I'm saying? Because it seemed like they put in his, like, I wouldn't do the shit he doing, but it seemed like his sexual life is the thing that he being convicted on, and the tape. Now that tape should have got him jail time if they would have got it in there in time, right before the statute of limitations expired. But after that, I haven't seen it. It's nasty. All the stuff they showing is him being a nasty, scummy freak. But I'm still trying to figure out. Maybe somebody can educate me where they feel the actual crime that constitutes the RICO occurred.
So what they're trying to say, this is what his charges is basically. They're saying he's being charged with racketeering, conspiracy, 2 charges of sex trafficking, 2 charges of transportation to engage in prostitution. Many of the most severe allegations related to racketeering conspiracy charges, including accusations of kidnapping, drugging, and coercing women into sexual activity, sometimes using firearms or threats of violence. This can include he has over almost 100 women that have came out and said that he essayed them and raped them. So I think
when those women come out, then I'm
thinking that that's what I'm saying. Like the Cassie situation, it sounds more like she's the opening for a character witness more so than what we're about to see. Because they said this trial could last up to 8 weeks. I'm just like, I'm not about to hang my hat on what Cassie experienced to be like, because we did see a video of her being beat on. So it's kind of hard for me to try to really talk about that. I mean, we got
so here go the thing, like dealing with a RICO case, right? The Racketeering and Criminal Influence Act or organization is you have to have at least 2 people working for you committing crimes. Now, if they making the argument that Diddy had 2 people go buy drugs to bring to the party, if that's what they building the RICO off of, it's a lot of people going to jail. Like if you call your homeboy and say, "Hey Joe, bring the weed," and then you in a state where weed is illegal, or you know what I'm saying, or you pay for bottle service, or matter of fact, a bachelor party. If you pay for strippers to come to the bachelor party in Illinois and you in Indiana, and they cross that state line, and then you call somebody else and say, "Hey, bring some weed," and they bring the weed and it's illegal in Indiana, you have just committed a RICO charge the way they kind of At this point, the way it's kind of
where's the
Yeah,
money
how they
coming
framing
from?
it? Yeah.
Where's the money coming from? Is the money coming from record label revenue and all that? That's when you start tying in the money coming in from there, and then the drugs.
It's
Are you
rock.
using drugs off? If you're using that
Partnerships.
fund to purchase drugs, and now you got a racket. You got racketeering.
But that's my point. All of the industry does that, so everybody gonna get pulled in on the RICO. Like,
I think that's what the prosecutors just hope to the outcome
That's
that they
exactly
hope
what they're shooting
get.
for.
A lot of people are going to get brought into this case, whether they like it or not, as much as
They
they
can
try
tie
to.
those transactions into that and make the money dirty.
Yeah.
And then you
So
got
Like
all
you had
black
a
reformers will be
1,000
in jail.
bottles of baby oil. Where'd you get it from? Where'd you source it from? Just because it looked like it's hidden. It's hidden in plain sight. So that
What,
is
the baby oil?
don't
Yeah,
think
it
it was
wasn't
hidden.
baby oil, okay?
It was baby
helped
oil.
you out.
So
Oh,
me and Marcus had a debate on this because I thought the baby oil was actually drugs. But then when you started hearing some of the testimony, I was like, hey, yeah, Marcus, you might be right, man. This dude.
Yeah, he
this dude,
got 10 beautiful big booty women, sprayed them all with baby
No,
oil.
that
and
is
they be
it
wrestling
was
and
filled
having
with something
freak-offs.
different substance. Come on, you guys know that.
I
What
believe
was
the same
some
thing,
of the
but
details what was some of the details of that Cassie named
they
out?
was talking
Anybody
about
know?
baby oil parties, like they had them wrestling.
I heard
and
it was
baby oil and
more
whatnot,
graphic
schools
than
full
that
of it.
though.
Yeah.
I heard one thing where she said she got
Urinated.
Urinate on. Yeah.
I heard worse, but I don't
She
even know
says,
what to say.
And I think she went 4 days straight.
was her asking for somebody to urinate in her mouth, like requesting it. Per the text messaging. He was asking her, "Are you ready to go to the freak off?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm always down for a freak off." Like
She said that in the
message.
text.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there are some damning text messages. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's a lot of
shit,
stuff
that changes things.
But I do think that back to Darwin's point, you can't necessarily say that out of a 10-year relationship that even if he only drugged her 4 times, and the rest of the time she went and got her own, she went and did it herself. Like she can be down with the freak offs, but maybe one day he was like, he wanted her to do it with somebody she didn't want to do it with. And he like, yo, you got to do it with him anyway. He my friend. You got to do it with him. So
He
I
probably
think
did this
that's
signal too. You got to do it with him.
No, I'm saying as soon as violence is into the equation, then it's definitely a crime committed. What I'm trying to figure out is, how are we saying coercion exists with power?
Was Drewski in it?
When people entertain these, like, because I think a major contingent on this case is going to be them proving that his influence is coercion in itself, just being his influence. So him just being famous was enough that a woman wouldn't want to leave him because she would.
They said Diddy had hands for a woman.
Yeah, they said he was doing a whole lot more than just.
Yeah,
because even
I'm just going on what I've seen so far.
Yeah, even at first when I had the same mindset as Marcus. When I first, like, before all this came out and they were talking, I'm like, I personally did not believe. I'm like, ain't no way somebody like Diddy has to go out his way. Like, you could just say, hey, look, you could just put online, I'm throwing a party, and every stripper on every corner of the earth is gonna show up to that party. All you do is tell them, this is who's gonna be here. It's a lot of whales in here. Come do your job. But if they add in the threatening part and all of that, then okay, I can see where it comes into play. But if, like Marcus said, if they're just trying to use the fact that Diddy's rich and he's powerful, and all of these women are saying, like, well, no, and they start asking them, like, well, did he hit you? Well, no, I actually did want to do it, but did he threaten you? Well, no, he really didn't threaten me.
So what is this thing about?
So they saying the threat is if he, like, so I'm just in a hypothetical argument I'm making. We all agree that if actual abuse occurred, then it's a wrap, right? But if in the hypothetical argument he said, I bought you a Benz, if you don't want to come to the freak off, then I just want my Benz back and we can go our separate ways. Is that enough coercion to convict him of racketeering?
I don't agree. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't agree that should be right. No,
ladies,
I don't think that's what the issue is. I think this coercion is on the lines of some of the rumors of, like, sending two guys built like officer tackles, breaking your house and oil you down and bust you down. And
that's not. I don't think that's
They were trying to say he leveraged his. Remember, she had a 10-album deal, and they're trying to say he leveraged that, where she only came out with like one, right?
Oh.
And she was like real souped about some premiere she was about to go
got
to,
bills
and
to
then one of
pay.
the
That's
instances
that's
happened.
deep.
And
So
There's a
I can
lot of
see how
ways
they
you can leverage.
I can see how they could influence that, because then you could say like your boss is saying you have to do this.
Yeah, that's different.
yeah, that's different. Yeah,
Look at his
and then they have
network,
then they have a legally binding contract too. So that right
Yeah.
there could be where they try to make it stick.
Look who Diddy was in bed
Pause.
with, but not literally. Like, look who he was networking with. Like, if you cross him or you don't fill his request, and you might not get a deal with nobody in the industry. Period.
I do want to bring in
a successful
Yeah.
artist. Artist success ain't the same as somebody having to work at
Because look
like,
what happened
if
to
you-
LOX and who was that? Styles P and all them.
Yeah,
Trying to get
man, they say Diddy was a monster.
they was trying to get their label, I guess, ownership of their music or some shit, and he wouldn't even.
Yeah, they were trying to get their masters back.
They want the
That's when
masters.
I do want to bring up the husband. I do want to bring up the husband in this because I believe in most cases that it may be difficult being him right now. I've had conversations with folks and they said that she's writing a book and I guess he was supposed to be the one reading it. So he may be aware of everything that has gone on. So maybe all of this news is not news to him. I've heard situations where I don't know if he was asked to leave, but came back in and he was mean mugging Diddy. He was doing his hands in different gestures that we just seen on the panel. So what are you guys' thoughts about the husband?
I heard he met her.
I think it would be extremely hard for me to go in a courtroom and hear somebody talking about pissing in my wife's mouth.
Bro,
I don't think
I don't even know how you could go like.
Didn't you meet her at the freak off?
He did. Yeah, he was a part. He was the trainer. He was a part of all that. Yeah, he was a part of all that shit too.
If he already wifed it, he built for all of it.
Man,
Like he built for all of this because
saw
like,
what
He might just be there for the 30 million for real.
yeah.
Yeah, he
just
saw,
like,
he saw all of that,
He
but
here
I'm
for
gonna
the
be honest.
check.
Ain't no way you could tell me that you had bumps on your mouth for how much motherfuckers pissed in your mouth and everything, and how much nut you was gobbling, and then I'll be able to kiss you in the mouth later on. Like that's wild.
How long they been married?
My
I
wife
feel
been living
bad.
up all the time, so I don't know what y'all talking about.
How long they been
Chicken
married?
pox on him.
I'm sorry, but it's
What you say, white school?
You don't know.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. You don't
People do
know.
know.
It's the worst part when you know. Like you know.
Yeah. When you know, yes, but
He gotta sit there and hear all this and be like, wait a minute, you said you got bumps on your tongue?
That can't be the worst of what happened. Just to piss, man.
Wait a minute, you said you was gargling? Wait a minute.
Oh
you
my
said,
God.
What? Oh, you tripping now?
That's what she said.
I want to have
Ain't no way, bro.
Bro, that's what she said under oath, man. Bro. That's what she said.
What? Wow.
That is bad. Hey, that's nasty work.
You talking about like mouthwash gargle?
Yeah, mouthwash gargle.
Bruh.
So she was in that motherfucker.
Man, she was a,
Hey,
she
Bruce,
was a,
what
she
you
was
mean?
a
You ain't know
toilet
about
bowl for 3 days straight, man. A toilet bowl for 3 days straight. That is wild.
That's a specific kink that a lot of people are into, man. That you know.
Them white boys built different. They can handle it.
I'm just trying to
he
figure
white?
how can you
okay.
even get yourself to,
Yeah.
to take
You know,
a
they do
piss
the
while you
cup
on a
stuff,
hard?
you know.
That makes
Oh
sense.
God. Well,
I mean, if
when
you on
you're
extreme,
demented,
if you on
mind
extreme
is
hard on,
anything.
how are you even pissing? Like biologically,
You
isn't
can't.
the next
Yeah,
thing-
no, you can't. You can't.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't even
It hurt.
understand these dudes.
You can.
No, you can't.
You can. It's just hard. It's
On
just like
extreme hard
difficult.
on, bro. The next thing coming out is a nut.
Yeah. That's
Well,
the
you probably got the order reversed. You know what I'm saying? He probably
Oh, they probably
When-
pissing.
yeah.
Bruh.
Because you have to after, you know what I mean? That's the first thing is the after pee. You know what I'm saying? So she probably, you know,
What you talking about, man?
Y'all men are just-
got
Hey,
the hot
man,
sauce.
y'all,
and-
y'all don't want to get all in the details, man.
Y'all was there. Like,
yeah, he talking about he got the order wrong, like you know. Like,
Hey, we need a pause.
Hey,
break,
wait,
man.
hey,
real.
time
Hold on,
out.
yo.
When y'all hold on. After y'all done the D, y'all ain't gotta go
Yeah,
hit the,
yeah.
hit
Nobody
the
trying
can
to
real
talk
quick.
about that, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Hey.
Trey. We do gotta hit the can, yo.
Right.
that'd be a hard one to do. He's spraying everywhere.